All right, welcome to episode 10 of Trash Talkin.
I'm Reg.
I'm E, and we are officially in draft week, which for Bears fan is Super Bowl week, for Commanders fans is Super Bowl week, and for now, Patriots fans, it is now Super Bowl week, when for last 20 years, Super Bowl week was Super Bowl week for the Patriots. It's been a fun transition for those fans, and this is my favorite time of the year. I like it more than the Super Bowl, opening day. Draft week is my favorite, do the mock drafts, and I always do the full first-round mock draft and then check them off on draft night and always get like 2 or 3 right. But that's the best part of it. We're going to rank some quarterbacks today. We're going to do a 10-team mock draft, and we're going to do Caleb's expectations in year 1 because we have 2 Bear fanatics that are going to join us. Bobby K and RedDawg are going to be on and talking about their Bears. And it seems for the past forever, all the Bears fans are able to talk about is who they're going to get next and not playoff games and playoff wins. And if it helps, Cowboy fans also don't get to talk about playoff wins, so we're in the same boat, but at least you guys get to have fun in April with the draft.
This is a year's worth of work for Mel Kiper Jr., who is the best at judging college athletes and picking where they go, and this guy has done it for years and years and years, and basically every year he's always right on the money.
Yeah,
right on the money.
Yeah, draft season's the best because there's so many busts, which makes it fun for me because you don't know who's going to be good. I saw this stat that only 20% of players in the first round actually end up being good players.
That's not you, Paxton Lynch.
No,
that's not you, Paxton.
Paxton Lynch made it out.
You're not on that list.
So I think we're going to bring on Bobby and RedDawg now.
Yeah, so we're going to introduce cousin RedDawg, who's been a huge Bears fan. He's got his setup gear behind him. And the other huge Bears fan in the family, minus his brother, Bobby K. I know Pablo wanted to be on, but he's a working dude. He's got to work.
Hard worker.
You guys are at home just watching TV, so we bothered you guys.
Watching Bears film. All right, so we are going to talk about your Bears at some point. We have that in third topic, and that'll be the long one, I think. But first, what I want to do, because I think the quarterbacks are a little kind of hard to read in this year's draft compared to last year and the year before that. I think it's hard to kind of put a ranking after number 1, who I think is obviously going to be a Bear. So I wanted to rank, I think we're going to do 8 because we were talking before about 2 other quarterbacks that we didn't really talk about. And we're going to do our top 8 in the draft, and we're going to rank them, and I'm going to see what you think first.
Well, you guys are awful lucky. You're getting a Patrick Mahomes type guy. You had to make the move you made. This kid is too good to pass up. I just hope his father's not LeVar Ball and ruins his kid and puts him on a pedestal and puts too much pressure on him and just lets the kid play. Because I think Caleb Williams, he's a can't miss. This guy is I've seen him play his whole career. The guy can do everything, doesn't get uptight. In college, he had to score 42 points to win because his team had no defense. I think by far, he's the number 1. I love Jaden Daniels as 2 for LSU. That kid is quick. He's got good arm. He's mobile. He's what you need in the NFL. And that's what puts him ahead, to me, of Drake May at number 3. I think that guy is very good. Drake May, I hope he's not a Sam Howell. I hope he's developed a little more. He went to North Carolina, the same school that Sam Howell went. But I think he has a little more talent. And I think I think when he comes in, he'll be good for the team. And I think if you give him a couple of years, he'll be even better. 4, I would go with Michael Penix. I love that guy. I watched him play. He throws a dart. He's a lefty, which is going to be defenses up. He had to score 40 points a game in the Pac-12 to win games. Number 5, I'll give to McCarthy, even though, Michigan, they won games because the defense gave up 3 points a game. They got a great running back. I think that I think his coach, Harbaugh, is hyping him up, and somebody's going to pick him really high and, probably be a little bit disappointed. I hope New England's the team that does it.
Yeah.
And then I would I think New England will do it. I would go with Bo Nix. I think he's old enough and ready enough. You're taking an older quarterback, but I think he fits the system and that he will be pretty good. There's 2 quarterbacks that I like in second or third round. Spencer Ratliff out of South Carolina. He was good. He's played a lot of tough teams in his day. Moves around well, throws the ball well. And Michael Pratt from Tulane. I think he's got the skills that maybe in 2 or 3 years down the line, if he's in an organization that gives him time, that he'll be a good second or third round pick.
Me and you have pretty close to the same list. Obviously, Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes, and you guys are really lucky there's no Mitch Trubisky in this draft that you can take over him.
Another UNC guy. He's another UNC guy.
You could make a mistake, but Patrick Mahomes is 1. He's the best player in the draft. I have Drake May at 2 just because of what he could be. But I saw someone say that he could ruin a GM's career. And I believe he also could ruin GM's career, but I think his potential's there. Jaden Daniels at 3, injury history, but he's mobile. He's a little older. At 4, I have Michael Penix. I like Michael. I don't know why no one's talking about Michael Penix because he was amazing all year. 5, I don't hate this guy as much as everyone else does. I like him a lot more than everyone else does. I like JJ McCarthy at 5 because my thing with JJ McCarthy is I haven't seen anything special from him, but I've also not seen anything bad from him. So I don't look at him. He doesn't make mistakes. So I think 5 is fair for McCarthy. This is a player I don't like at all in the draft. I don't like Bo Nix like whatsoever. He's 25 and not special to me. And if you're already that age, you already have to be there. If you're 21 and not special like McCarthy, I can deal with that. I can take you. You can be reliable. But I don't see anything with Bo Nix. At 7, I have Michael Pratt. I love Michael Pratt. I think he's the Brock Purdy of this year's draft. He's not going to go as late, but he's not going to really be thought about. And I think 1 or 2 years sitting behind someone, like you said, I think he becomes a really good quarterback. A quarterback I don't think we're talking about much. It's because his accuracy is horrible. Who I like more than Rattler is Joe Milton out of Tennessee. He's 24 already. He's got a cannon arm. He's huge. He would be Anthony Richardson if he was 21. Someone would take a chance.
He's the next Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, he can't really throw. He doesn't have a great accuracy deep. He's got a cannon arm. He's a big, strong, athletic guy. He would, to me, he'd be Anthony Richardson if he was 3 years younger and someone would take a flyer at the end of the first round on him. And then Rattler. I don't like the cat. Well, the cat likes the Evan Rotella album, I heard. So.
Yeah, he loves it. He's happy to be here.
and the last one would be Rattler for me because he's good. He's talented. But to kind of like tie it together with Caleb, Rattler got pulled that Texas Oklahoma game last year when they were down like 3 touchdowns, and Caleb came in for Rattler at Oklahoma and then came back, and that was kind of what started the Caleb hype, and that's what ended Rattler's supposed to be top 3 pick at that point, and then he went to South Carolina. So I think Rattler could surprise people. I would not be like shocked if a team like we were talking about earlier, the Raiders, if the Raiders have Bo Nix at 12 and that's the only quarterback they're looking for, I could see them waiting till 2 or 3 and taking someone like Rattler. But that's my list. I don't know if you guys have a ranking on your quarterbacks.
Mine's about the same as yours, but I got Milton at 8 and Rattler at 7.
Oh, I like that.
Rattler, the talent's there. I don't know if you guys know that show, QB1.
Yeah.
If you watch his season, that kid just right there just kind of turned me off of him. But
yeah,
the talent's there.
He's a tough kid, yeah.
He's a tough kid, no doubt, but I just don't know.
Terrible personality.
The head and stuff. Like,
absolutely.
Same with Williams. I love Caleb Williams now. I've been watching him. I love Justin Fields, but like you said, you can't pass on this kid. Like,
no, it's impossible.
Watching Fields, there was more games at the end of the game. I'm like, he's not our guy.
Yeah.
Where he is our guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think coaching too. Like, I hope we have the right coach in there for Williams. Like I hope Waldron, like what he did with Geno Smith, like I hope he can do that with Caleb. Like,
if you guys pass on Caleb,
if he could do that with Geno, hopefully he'll be able to do a little bit more with Caleb.
Yeah, and then now you add Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and then who knows at 9 if they stay at 9, the Bears, you can add Rome. You can I heard you guys talking earlier. I love Everett and Kmet, the 2 tight ends.
Yeah, you guys
you got Swift in there now too. So
you have all the makings of a good offense.
Yeah, it's just that offensive line. That offensive line has to be there. Like it wasn't there for Fields, and I hope it's there for Williams.
It's the first time I've ever seen during an off season before Bobby goes. It's the first time I've ever seen a team prepare for their number 1 overall quarterback. Like they knew they were taking a quarterback, and they went, "We're gonna go get a receiver in Keenan Allen. Gonna get a running back. Gonna get a backup tight end. Your tackles are a lot better than they were a year ago. Darnell Wright, another year under his belt.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing.
If your guards can stay healthy, then they'll be okay. Like I love Jenkins. Like their right side with Jenkins and Wright, I think is going to be a solid right side of the line for years.
Yeah,
But
sure.
Jenkins has to stay healthy. Like
Absolutely, yeah. You guys have the makings. Bobby.
It's there, but it's the Bears, man.
What do you think, Bob?
My list was pretty close to all yours. Caleb obviously is first overall. I think with 2 and 3, I think if you want kind of more of a plug and play right now and you want success right away, I think Jaden Daniels would be my second. But I think overall and long term, it could be Drake May, and that's why I would have them Washington take him. I think they have a little bit more time to build. Patriots are kind of wanting to go right now, especially with how successful they were in the past. They don't really want to do a full-on 2-3 year rebuild. Michael Penix would be number 4.
Don't worry, I can edit that out.
I like him at 4, but I also think that just the industry is hyping McCarthy enough that he might be the 4th overall, or the 4th quarterback off the list. Either way, the top 5 I think is pretty well, just to shuffle them around a little bit, other than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, McCarthy definitely feels like someone who could go 3, 4.
McCarthy's going to have to realize he's not going to play the University of Buffalo, Toledo, and all the pancakes that they played at Michigan.
And he's going to have to throw in the second half.
Schedule and the best defense. So they weren't winning because he was throwing the ball all over the field. They had the great running back, and they had great defense. So he's getting hyped up way too much. And because he went to Michigan, everybody's going to think Tom Brady.
He's got the Zach Wilson thing I'm finding, where everybody loves Zach Wilson then he jumped up to number 2. And I think somebody's going to move up to grab him, and I think it's going to be a mistake to take him that early.
I think it's like a certain situation if McCarthy goes to will be good. Like if he goes to Minnesota, I'd believe in him. I would just believe in throwing to Jefferson, Addison.
He's got a good coach there too, right? So
yes, but
that's a great coach. So
if you have a good offensive coach, like I know the Niners aren't in business for getting a quarterback, but if you had like Shanahan, O'Connell, offensive coaches with great receivers and weapons,
Nathaniel Hackett,
the best offensive coach in the league.
If you had him, he would turn
get my coach's name out your mouth.
Daniel Hackett turned Russell Wilson from a Hall of Famer to maybe a Hall of Famer. The first ballot to maybe getting in. But if you go to the right situation, I think J.J. McCarthy's fine. Drake May is more of a project, but he can be because he's 21. He's not 25 like Nix and 24 like Penix. So that's what I tend to lean. If you're not a superstar, I want young. So like Bo Nix is not a superstar. He's 25. Like I would not even touch Bo Nix. If you guys take Bo Nix, I would not love that for you guys at all.
They say they're going to take him. So
I would take
with nothing surprising me.
And I can't believe no one's talking about Penix. Like I don't know how he fell. Yeah,
I think he fell from the playoffs. I think he that's
fell
where
from
everybody kind of
from
lost.
the national championship though against one of the best defenses.
The best defense out there. So you know.
Yeah.
To me, it was just a really weird thing that we stopped doing.
I like him. I just think he just fell off. It happens with quarterbacks in this draft. Like
just watching him all year, it was just he was head and shoulders.
And I hate the combines. They do so many stupid things, and people, oh my God, it took them 20 seconds to go to the washerman back. Oh, come on, only watch the tape of the games that he played. I don't care what these guys are doing in these camps and everything. Watch the games and what he does against pressure and everything, and go by that. They do enough during the games that you watch that they don't need all these camps. So
you have enough games, as they say.
Yeah, you have enough. You have enough games to know during the year who's your guy, and that's why it's. And for 2 years, I feel like it's been Caleb and Drake May at the top two. Jaden Daniels to me came out of nowhere. Where did Bobby go? Jaden Daniels came out of nowhere, and JJ McCarthy obviously we knew who he was, but came out of nowhere in this whole draft thing. So what we're gonna do a top 10 mock draft and hopefully get Bobby back at some point here. And I'll go with you first for the top 10 mock draft. He's got his.
I'm ready to go, boys.
Well, my top 10.
It's draft week.
There's a very good punter in the draft, and I'm not sure if the Bears are going to take him at 1 or not, but if they don't, I think they're going to go with Caleb Williams.
I'll have to scroll the special teams in my book here.
I think they're going to go with Caleb Williams. I think Washington's going to go with Jaden Daniels. I think they're going to go with the more athletic guy. To me, they have talent around them. if you put him with the offensive coaches, he'll do well. And I think New England, they're going to take J.J. McCarthy. They're going to think they're going to hit on another Michigan quarterback. This is going to be their own problem. They're going to think, oh, my God, we got him in the 6th round.
But that's
20
too
years
early.
ago. This is going to be the second making of Tom Brady. And I don't think it will. I think they're going to fall for it. Now, at number 4, if I'm Arizona personally, I would trade the pick because they have another pick in the first round of 27. And to me, Marvin Harrison, this is such a deep receiver. He's not that much better than Malik Neighbors and other receivers in this draft. But I think they will keep Marvin Harrison. And the Chargers are smart. They're going to drop out of 5 with Minnesota. Minnesota have 2 first-round picks, and they're going to give them both. And to me, they're going to take Drake May, the Vikings, because they need a quarterback. They have to keep Justin Jefferson happy. Because if they want to keep him, and if they go into the season with Sam Darnold and they have nothing, he's going to leave so fast.
Is this 5th year or is this 4th?
Jefferson's coming up for contract next year. So
is this his option year?
$30 million a year, but
no option.
No option. But he's going.
Well, I mean, 5th year option because of
no 5th year option. Right
so
now.
to me, they have to get a quarterback. The Giants, I think, they need offense. Malik Neighbors is a no-brainer for me, a wide receiver. The Titans are going to go boring. They're going to go Joe Alt, the offensive tackle. They're a boring team. They're not flashy, but they're decent.
But
and
he's
I think
awesome.
they got to protect their quarterback. Now, if I'm in Atlanta personally, I would take an offensive lineman to protect an old quarterback, but I think they go with Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama, get a little bit of defense. At 9, listen, you guys have a lot of needs, but it's an offensive league. I go with Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
I go with another receiver. Like you say, you put him with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Everett, who I love to pick up.
Yes.
And you got DeAndre Swift. If you have a half-decent offensive coordinator, you can score. You can always get good defense in the 2nd and 3rd round to help you out. You can always upgrade on defense through free agency and everything. I think receiver-wise, you got to take one at this pick. And at number 10, I think the Jets take Brock Bowers. The guy's dynamite tight end. They give Aaron Rodgers another weapon. Again, if I'm them, I might take an offensive lineman because you have an old quarterback. But if Brock Bowers is there, he's the best tight end in the draft. Yeah. I take him at 10 on the Jets.
Me and you have a pretty similar top 10. The Bears take Caleb Williams, obviously, and that would be the biggest fumble if somehow the year Drake May is being at 1. I would be shocked. And then I got Drake May at 2, just because I think I know they've been talking about Daniels and some have been talking about McCarthy, the Commanders. I think they'll stick with it and take Drake May. He's a big guy. He's a big, strong quarterback. He's mobile. I think he's like the Trevor Lawrence prototype where I don't know if you can pass on it. Jaden Daniels at 3 to the Patriots because I don't think I think that whole structure of Belichick and, Brady, that whole thing is done. Belichick's gone. They have Gerard Mayo in. He's going to bring a different type of culture. He's going to want the fast, strong, mobile quarterback. I take Jaden Daniels. Vikings trade up to 4. They trade both their picks for J.J. McCarthy, which is a great move. We were talking earlier for the Cardinals. They'll have 3 picks now, 3 first-round picks. That would be a huge move for them. And like you said, I love Marvin Harrison Jr., but to get that value back for him is no-brainer. So the Vikings take J.J. McCarthy there, which I do think he will succeed there. 5, I was going to have the Chargers moving out, but now that Marvin Harrison falls down to 5, the Chargers take Harrison to kind of give him the Keenan Allen.
Both their receivers.
Now you need one.
Keenan Allen. They lost both their receivers.
You can't, be banking on Quentin Johnson having a good second year because his first year was so bad. I loved Quentin Johnson, but you can't. So Marvin Harrison, the Chargers at 5. The Giants cannot pass up on a weapon in Malik Neighbors because they have not had one since Odell, it feels like. Titans, same as you. They're going to go boring, but probably the best
tackle in the draft. Yeah,
he's like 6'8". Like he's a massive boy.
He's a beast.
So, Joe Alt at 7. So they would now have Skoronski and Alt at their tackles. That's good for a second round quarterback, Will Levis. Obviously, they made some pretty big moves in the offseason to show they want to compete in that division. Joe Alt would be huge. For the Falcons, their offense is set now. Pitts, Bijan, London, Kirk Cousins, their O-line is great. You got to go get an edge rusher, and my favorite edge rusher in the draft is Dallas Turner out of Alabama. For the Bears at 9, I think I said it last week, the most important positions in football is quarterback, a tackle, a left tackle, but any tackle, a wide receiver 2, a corner, and an edge. So they have Jalen Johnson at corner. They have Keenan Allen, wide receiver 2. They'll have Caleb Williams, Darnell Wright. They need another edge. They have Montez Sweat already. But I think Latu from UCLA will be huge. I think he's a great edge rusher. He's a little older. I think he's 23, which is fine. But if you have those two coming off the edge, that's just going to make your secondary so much better and more effective. I would love that at 9 for the Bears. And the Jets should go tackle because they have an old man at quarterback who's coming off an Achilles. They should be trying to protect him, but they're going to go.
Offensive line was terrible.
Absolutely. And, you can't bank on Tyron Smith, who we've never been able to bank on. Who they got? They got Moses Morgan. And so I don't like any of their picks. I mean, their tackles. I know Tyron can be an elite tackle, but he can only be elite if he doesn't practice all year, which is not something I want to bank on. So I would want them to go tackle. I think that would be the grown up, but they'll take Brock Bowers.
I think at 11, somebody's going to take Caitlin Clark.
Bears at
9. She's going to go 11 in this draft.
Bears at 9 are going to take Caitlin Clark. There's a rumor.
There you go.
All right, let's hear from RedDawg and then Bobby.
Okay, I got Caleb, obviously, number 1. But I have Drake May going to Washington at 2. Now, this is where I have the trade. I have New England trading out of there with Minnesota. I've got Minnesota coming in and giving New England the 2 picks and taking Jaden Daniels. And then at 4, I have Arizona moving out of there with the Giants moving up and taking J.J. McCarthy. Because I think the Giants are done with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to do with the guy. And then Arizona drops back to 6 where they could still get either Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, because that's who I have going next. Like the Chargers taking one of them because they lost both their receivers.
Yeah.
And if Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting there at 5,
they have to take
I'm the Chargers. You got to take him at 5. And I have Neighbors going at 6. I have Alt going at 7 to Tennessee. Turner 8 to Atlanta, which I'd love Turner to fall to the Bears at 9. Because I'm like you. I think they need that other edge rusher. I mean, everything's saying they're going to take Roma Dunze, and that's great to have the 3 wideouts, but he's going to be wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Because if Keenan Allen can stay healthy.
Remember, Keenan Allen only plays 7-8 games.
That's what I mean. If he can stay healthy.
He had a bad hamstring in sunny California. Wait till he gets to cold Chicago. His hamstring ain't going to be so good.
The cold is the cure, baby. The cold is the cure.
I do have the Jets taking Bowers, but I'm with you. I think they have to take that tackle from Penn State.
Yeah.
I think they got it because Rodgers, I mean, he played 4 downs but even after he left, that offensive line was
horrible.
Awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
But I have Minnesota moving up to 3 because I think
they're definitely trading.
They're definitely trading, and I think they got to move into 3 or 4. I think
the scary thing is, I heard Arizona wants 3 years of first-round picks, which is awful.
Because I was sitting there
like, go with 2. They would have 3 this year and 2 next year instead of being greedy.
Yeah, if you look at all the Twitter and stuff is saying the Bears are going to move up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, I don't want to give up 2 first-round. 3 first-round picks.
He's not worth it.
I think he's a great wide receiver, but there's 3 there. Like Neighbors, Adunze, and him. Like
it's a deep draft
difference. There's not much.
Receivers are a dime a dozen. Receivers are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Plus, this is a pretty deep. This is a deep wide receiver draft.
But you can get a receiver just as good in the second round. Someone like McConkey is going to fall in the second round.
That's what the Bills are going to take.
Malachi Corley. There's a lot of great receivers.
Yeah,
that are going to fall.
I wouldn't even mind the Bears trading out of 9 to get more picks.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
After 1 and 9, you don't pick till Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the Bears. Like you have 2 more picks left for the draft. I think you have a 4th and a 6th. So
we'll
I mean,
that's a good point.
If your guy's sitting there that you really like Latu, I like him. If Turner's there, like if Atlanta passes on him, you got to take Turner at 9. If not, get out of there and get some more picks.
Even that Jared Verse from Florida State.
Even Verse is good,
Verse from Florida State's good too. I'm sure he's going high in the first round.
Yeah, Chop Robinson will be there later on in the first round. So you can drop back to the 20s and if you could grab a second round pick for this year or a third, like just to get more picks, because 4 picks. I mean, when you have as many needs as the Bears have, 4 picks is not going to be enough this year. For the draft.
drop down and get some. All right, Bobby, what do you got?
Pretty close to everyone else's. But I got Caleb obviously going first overall. As a project, as I mentioned earlier, I think Washington's going to end up taking Drake May, give him a little bit of time to develop. He's got great arm talent. He's a monster. I think he'll do well there too as well eventually. I'm doing this as if I'm not doing any trades whatsoever. I'm doing a tradeless top 10. So with the Patriots, I got them taking Jaden Daniels, 3rd overall. Marvin Harrison Jr. is like the perfect fit for Arizona. They've wanted them since the very beginning. And if the Bears wanted him, we should have lost more games. At the beginning of the season, I thought we were going to end up having the 1st and 2nd or the 1st and 3rd, but then we just kept winning games when we didn't need to. As a Bears fan, it was so bittersweet because I wanted to see them. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was a weird one, but I love that trade.
I hope you guys didn't forget to send Carolina a Christmas card this year.
I know, man. That's unreal.
I sent them one this year, I think.
Yeah, we owe Carolina a lot.
Yeah.
The Chargers, I know they need a wide receiver, but they also need to protect. So I actually got them taking Alt. I think Alt in previous years would probably be a top 2 pick. He's incredible. He's a monster. He's going to be durable for them. And they need protection. They have an incredible quarterback, and he just seems to get rocked all the time. So I feel like protection's probably best for them. I think a couple of you guys had Malik going to the Giants. Again, they need something a little bit more dynamic. Sorry, I'm just getting an email at the same time I'm here. We got, unfortunately, Dallas Turner going to Tennessee. I think that's a pretty solid and pretty Tennessee type pick. Gritty, rough, awesome. And I feel like he's going to be our Aaron Donald of this season, not being able to fall to the Bears like a couple of years back. Aaron Donald got picked 1 pick before the Bears pick, and I was dying at the draft watching that. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing. I think we're going to see Dallas Turner turn into maybe the best player in the draft. At 8, I got Atlanta taking Rome. I know they already have like a lot of weapons, but I think they're just going to keep loading up. I think they're wanting to be this greatest show on turf of the new generation. I think they're just going to go all in and take Rome. The Bears do need an edge to go along with Sweat. And I think they're going to take Jared Verse. Someone just mentioned him a couple minutes ago. I think he's solid. I don't think the Bears will trade back out. I think that they do want someone really, really nice to plug and play. Put him right in there with Sweat, and then you got a couple different Ryan Poles, nice trades and moves that they made in the offseason. Holding on to Jalen Johnson was huge, and just solidifying that defense to go along, especially the pass rush of that defense. You get Caleb Williams up a touchdown or 2, and then all of a sudden you got those pass rushers coming in and just dominating, And my reach, I guess, well, not reach, but at 10, I got the Jets taking JJ McCarthy. I think that, you only got Aaron Rodgers for a year or 2 regardless. And like Aaron Rodgers, sitting behind a really good quarterback, a Hall of Fame style quarterback for a year or 2 might really be the move. And in a city like New York, you really do got to have a guy ready to go. You can't just throw in a rookie quarterback and expect him to thrive. It's the hardest place in the world to play any sport. And I think that, you have him sitting behind one of the greatest quarterbacks who I hate more than anyone. But Aaron Rodgers is amazing. He's really knowledgeable, and I think that would be a really good move to have him sit behind Aaron for a year or 2, develop.
That makes a lot of sense, and I've never heard anybody mention that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What if he runs the vice president? Oh no, forget.
Yeah, that makes sense to have the McCarthy back up. Rodgers, you don't know how long he's got.
Look what happened to the Jets this year when they had no backup.
Exactly.
McCarthy's young enough, and he has, obviously, what people like about him is that he has a certain IQ. Playing in Michigan, he didn't have to do too much, but he knew the system well. If you sit behind Rodgers, I think that's how you make someone who's just normal, just a good player, go from good to great and special.
Jordan Love.
I think that, like Jordan Love. I think that could, obviously Jordan Love was a project.
Mahomes sat here.
Yeah, he sat for a whole year. Like
Smith.
Yeah.
He sat behind him for a year. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
It seems to be something that people are focusing on more now, is picking a quarterback and having him sit, because we've seen it work so much. We saw it work with Rodgers and now Love and Mahomes. And I think like for someone like Fields, that would have done really well for him.
I would have loved it too. And that was the plan, because they signed Dalton.
Yeah.
They were going to have, and then Dalton got hurt. and they throw Fields in. He has to play Cleveland and get sacked 7 times.
Never trust a ginger. Never trust a ginger.
Easy.
I know. We're almost outnumbered. We're almost outnumbered on this.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move to the Bears topic for our last topic. We're going to talk about what are the expectations of Caleb Williams in year 1 with the Bears. What do you think?
Well, I think he's going to be very good. It's all about the protection with him. I think with the coaching and the talent they have around him, I think a very good year for you guys would be 8-9, 9-8. I think it's a tough division you're in. You have a hard schedule. I think he's going to learn as he goes. I think with the protection, he's played in almost like a pro-style offense anyway. I think with the guys you have, your defense is going to get better. Your running game is going to get better. If they use the tight ends, to me, you know what? He gets 25 touchdowns. You guys win 8 games. I think that's a great year. You guys had no choice but to get rid of Fields. He's not going to be worth the money you guys are going to have to work.
No.
You're going to have another rookie contract with a quarterback where you can afford to pay everybody else. And I think after the 4 years, I think he's going to be dynamite. I think you guys are going to be set with a quarterback for the next 10 years. He's going to get paid in 4 years. I think he's smart enough. He's going to get down. He's not going to get, run around and get hurt. I think as long as you guys have the protection, I can see you guys. You're going to be very competitive. 8 wins in that division is good because usually in that division, you're going to go 1-1 against each other. It's such a tough division. But I think a successful year is 8 wins, learning experience. And next year, you know what? Draft again well, pick up some other guys while he's under a rookie contract. And I think if you have the right coach and the coaching, you guys are going to be all right. I think between last year and this year, you guys have jumped back in the scene that, you guys are going to be on national TV a few more times this year. And I think you're going to be good. So
I think a successful year for the Bears, 8-9. But what were you guys last year? 7-10?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, 7-10. So I don't think Caleb Williams is like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's like Andrew Luck, where he comes in and he's a great player automatically. I think that drafting a good quarterback, signing a good quarterback like that, I'd do 2 to 3 wins. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone else be as high on the Bears this year as I am, because I feel like we're not used to being high on you guys. I got the Bears making the playoffs. I like 10-7. That team is – look at the roster. That team is way too good. And I don't like the Packers as much as everyone else does.
He didn't wear glasses looking at the eclipse.
Yeah, I think so.
He didn't wear the glasses.
I don't like the Packers nearly as much.
See what happens?
I don't like the Packers nearly as much as everyone else does. I think there was a lot of overperforming last year. I think Jordan Love is great. I don't think you're going to see the same thing from people like Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs is great. Watson's always hurt. I don't like the team as much as everyone else does. I think they're great too. I don't like the Lions as much as everyone else does. I think they can be great, and I really thought for a minute there they were gonna go to the Super Bowl. I think Jared Goff holds you back. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback who makes things happen.
I think they're all around 10 wins. Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, maybe a little under. Minnesota's probably going to be under because of the quarterback.
Me too. I think you add Caleb throwing to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. If you guys do take Roma Dunze, I don't think you will, but if you do, and then you have Komet, you have Gerald Everett, you have a decent O-line now. Your defense is good enough now, especially if you follow my mock draft and you get Latu, and you already have Sweat on the other side, Jalen Johnson. I like Jaquan Brisker. I think he's a great safety. I think you guys you have Edmonds at linebacker.
Edmonds, Edwards.
You guys have a really good team to me. I mean, I look at your team, and when I put it roster to roster with the Packers, it sizes up like you have a better receiving core than the Packers. Maybe not all around because they have a full receiving core. I think you'll have a better quarterback by midseason. I've loved Caleb since last year, since Oklahoma. I thought he was a dynamic difference maker right away, and he can play out of structure. And I think everyone's killing him for that for some reason. Like he can't play in structure. He can obviously, but he's gonna make plays for you guys. And Fields could do that too, but he didn't have the arm to do that. No. Fields could get out of the pocket, but there was no ability to get it downfield. Williams is gonna get out of the pocket like Mahomes. And,
he'll look to throw first.
I think it's great.
Fields look to run first. He'll look to throw first.
And with Fields too, I think they just were afraid to open up the playbook for the guy. Because I don't think he could do it. I don't think he could get the playbook. Like
Talented as
His-
Williams is.
his first option, Fields, was to take off.
Yeah.
And like
Well, you guys-
if that first read wasn't there, he wasn't looking for
Yeah,
the second.
he was
And
not.
plus, the offensive line was so bad that he couldn't get to that third read.
Well, you guys
No.
are going to be happy because Otani took the over on your
Oh,
on the props for the Bears. I mean, his
His
interpreter
interpreter.
took the
His
over on the
interpreter.
prop bet. The team wins.
I was going to get an interpreter for the show today, but I couldn't find one.
Oh
I
my
think you
god.
guys are going to be great. I'm
I
really
have-
excited to watch you guys.
I have the Bears at 9 wins or 10 wins, maybe, but I think 9 and 8 is a good year, first year for Williams. They're saying it's the best roster that a number 1 overall pick is going to, like setup.
Yeah,
wise.
that's
One
one
of
of
them.
yes.
That's
Setup wise.
crazy.
Like, 'cause
That's
most times that first overall pick is going to a team that won 1 game last year or 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think once the Bears picked up Sweat, the defense caught on to Eberflus's defense finally.
Yeah.
His coaching came up. Like I wanted that guy gone, but it wasn't him I wanted gone. I wanted the offensive coordinator gone.
Oh, you
Right.
I just think he just handcuffed Fields. They didn't know how to coach Fields.
They wouldn't let him cook.
Yeah, they
Wouldn't let him cook, man.
they just didn't know how to coach the guy, and I think he just lost all confidence. And I mean, I hope he does great in Pittsburgh. I really do because
I think he will. I think he'll learn a lot.
He'll do fine.
He's better than Russell Wilson.
He'll be
They
great.
already
Yeah.
promised Wilson a job, but he's better than Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah. I think Fields would be great in Pittsburgh.
but I think they're in a very tough division with Detroit being the way they look now. Green Bay with Love looked great at times last year. I'm with you, Ev. Like
I'm
I'll
cool.
never say Green Bay's good because it'd be like cheering for the Habs as a Leaf fan. You can't do it. You just can't do it. And
No,
I
there
think
was-
Minnesota is going to drop big time with a rookie quarterback. And I mean, I don't who'd they sign? They signed
Sam Darnold.
Darnold, but I mean, like how long before Justin Jefferson is?
He's
Frustrated.
gone after this year. If they lose
How
this
long
year,
before
and they
he's
don't have a
frustrated this
quarterback,
year?
he's gone. He's
You know
gone.
what I
He
mean?
won't
Like-
sign here again.
How long is he crying to go to Cincy to play with his boy Joe and Jamar? You know what I mean?
Could
Like,
you imagine that?
That'd be
Holy.
awesome.
like
Get him out of the NFC.
Get
I
him
think it's
to
a
play with
it's a
Caleb
tough
Williams.
division, but everybody's moving up in the division. I think it's going to be a good division this year, the North.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard for the Bears to make the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of overperforming though in that division all around. I do like Detroit; they're gritty, but I feel like that was their year. I feel like last year for them was like the Bills the year before. It was their 1 year, the really really good shot. But Love, I don't know why. I honestly like. It might be the Bears hateration, but I just don't see it in the guy. Like I watched him play, and there's like flashes of it, but I feel like he's real Geno Smithy. You know, like. He can have a good season. He might not. If he stays healthy, who knows?
He's
But
well coached. They have a great offensive mind coach.
they
Great
do.
coaching. Yeah.
They really do. And you can't look past great coaching, you know, and that is true. And even with the Detroit head coach, man, he's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's someone you don't like to like as a division foe and whatnot, but he's awesome. But I see the Bears at least winning 10 games. You know, we saw what a rookie quarterback did in Houston last year. And as RedDawg was saying, like, we are better set up than they were. You know, having Keenan Allen as his release valve is incredibly smart. I think Ryan Poles did an incredibly good job setting these guys up. Having Gerald Everett is such an underrated move, in my opinion, because what you're going to be able to do is you're going to get one more guy in protection, technically. For your rookie quarterback, you're going to make him feel that much more comfortable. And when you have a guy like Keenan Allen who catches 110 balls when he only plays 10 games a year, and you got those 2 pass catching tight ends and DJ Moore, who was our number 1 guy last year, throw in DeAndre Swift. Like it's going to be
Herbert. Still got Herbert too.
and Herbert's awesome. Like he's really really good.
And the
So,
kid last
I mean-
year too, that Roshan Johnson.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
young Texas, the
Yeah.
backup
He was
in
really
Texas.
Well, and that's
He's like
crazy.
bowling ball.
He's going to be special teams for us.
Yeah.
'Cause we're our depth, you know, like he's going to be our 3rd guy. And that's just such a loaded offense.
Mhm.
With our defensive moves, keeping Jalen Johnson in,
Yeah, that was huge.
trading for Sweat, and we're probably going to draft an edge. If we draft an edge and we got guys coming from both sides, we do have a little bit of softness in the middle on the defensive line. I was like, when I was looking at the mock draft, I was trying to see if I could like rationalize taking a defensive tackle or some sort of interior at 9, but not when you've got an edge passer like
if you move down.
Bobo, don't sleep on that Dexter Jr. from last year, the kid they got out of Florida last year.
But Jordan Dexter's good.
Yeah.
He didn't play much last year. They kind of rotated him in. I think he's going to have a big year this year. I think
so too, actually. Yeah, it was kind of like a developmental year for him.
Yeah, if you get an extra rush guy on the edge with Sweat, that's going to free up Dexter, I think. And I think
the thing with the NFC this year is they get the extra home game. Last year it was the AFC. This year the NFC. So that extra home game makes a bit of a difference in winning and losing, right? So now you got 9 home games compared to
that definitely helps too. That's why I think 11 wins could. I think honestly 11 wins would be good. 11 and 6.
Right there.
But one thing I wanted to mention too, an underrated move that we did in the offseason was taking advantage of the Buffalo Bills and their San Diego Padres like financial situation. They need to get rid of a lot of money, and we ended up giving up a 5th-round pick for a really good interior offensive lineman. He's going to be our backup everything, and having that little bit of depth on the offensive line, we put on a little bit of salary, but we had so much cap room, it really didn't matter. The only reason we were able to get him from Buffalo was because Buffalo had like a really, really cheap replacement for him. Yeah. And having someone that can back up literally every single position is almost priceless in this league, you know? So not only are we making progress on our tackles are looking a lot better, but having that one guy that can fit in if we just have a couple cramps or whatever else, when you have that rookie quarterback, that's huge.
Now, Poles tried to get him 2 years ago.
Is that right?
And then Buffalo matched the offer sheet. So Poles is high on this kid like from 2 years ago. Not kid, he's older guy now, Bates, but
he's kids to us.
Yeah, I think he can fill in. He could be your backup center. He can play both guard positions. Like that's what they need. I'd love for them to draft a center, but I don't think they have the picks to get one of the.
That's the difference between having cap room, having a quarterback with a huge salary like half these teams have, and they pay $40 million, and having somebody under a rookie contract.
That's right.
That's the difference between having a great all-around team or just certain areas, because you can afford to pay people in all positions. But when you have one good quarterback and you got to pay them, 25%, 20 to 25% of your salary, that's, makes a big difference.
It's that's unreal. That's why the Patrick Mahomes contract was actually really great. They stretched it out to like 13 years or whatever it was. But on a per salary basis, he's going to make way less than a lot of the quarquarterbacks that are getting 40 to 50 for nothing,
Yeah, sure.
You're getting real blow guys making way too much money.
Brady did that for years in New England, where everybody he should have been the highest paid quarterback, but he took less so they could add guys.
It's huge.
I think that's what Mahomes
tells you a lot about people. If winning is more important or if the money is more important, that's all it tells you.
Our quarterback cries when he loses, and I love that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good thing for Caleb. Everyone was making fun of him. I was like, just crying after a game. That's awesome.
We just have to hope his team with people around him, aren't going to be
kind of rein it in a little bit.
Aren't going to be another LeVar Ball kind of deal.
I think it's harder to have a LeVar Ball situation in the NFL though, because the NFL is so powerful. The NBA is almost like the Players League.
Yeah.
The NFL will never let that shield go. They'll always have power. And
or I can go real old school and say he could be like a Carl Lindros type of thing.
Oh my God. Sorry, Evan was important for that.
No,
I was just laughing to go along with you guys. I don't know who Carl Lindros is.
Carl Lindros was all in on Eric, his son Eric's.
Oh, it's Eric's dad. Okay.
They were involved in everything, and that's
I forgot about it.
So that's the LeVar. Okay, I know Eric. Okay, I feel like I'm
He was like a prima donna before prima donnas, even,
Oh, he was a beast, Bobby. He was a beast.
Yeah, but still rejecting to go to a team, and I don't know.
Yeah,
he came to Bedrocks after the draft because he was there when I was
over the river.
Yeah, I was there too. I was there that night. I had to go to the DJ booth to get my X cup.
That's right.
Oh my God,
they were at the DJ booth.
I am so jealous that I wasn't around in those days, guys. You have no idea. Some of the stories I've heard.
I wasn't even a thought in those days. So
no.
So just to conclude, I'm with Bobby. But when we talk about Dak and we talk about we can't look at one game and forget the whole season, the Packers played a lot of terrible games last year, and they looked terrible against the Giants.
They got better as the year went on.
Yeah, but even the last week of the year was like, they had a close game against the Vikings, who had Nick Mullins starting. It's like, I don't know. I think the Packers could be good. I think the Lions will be good. I think the Bears will be great. And we're already at 45 minutes, so we're gonna cut this one off. Thank you, RedDawg and Bobby, for coming on talking Bears.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Hopefully we
Go
don't
Bears.
talk Bears draft
Go
next year.
Bears.
Hopefully we're talking about something better.
Hopefully you don't have the first pick next year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Maybe the first pick in the second round when we get Carolina second rounder.
Yeah,
we'll get the 31st pick.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on and talking. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Tune in next week. We're going to have a lot of NBA playoffs to talk about. If it wasn't draft week, we'd probably be talking Lakers and Golden State right now. So we will have a lot of topics to talk about next week, I think.
I'm Reg.
Ami, thanks for watching Trash Talk, and see you next week.